The year was 1943, and the old city of Harrogate had become a mosaic of shattered windows, empty streets, and distant echoes of sirens. Nights were the darkest, no lamps, no music, only the cold whisper of the wind sliding between ruins. In a narrow alley lived Samuel Ward, a quiet clockmaker whose shop had survived the first bombings by nothing more than chance. His shelves were dusty now, filled with broken watches that no one brought to repair. Yet every night, Samuel lit a small lantern and placed it in the window, a stubborn symbol that life still breathed within the ruined street. Across from his shop lived Lydia Rowan, a young nurse who worked in the underground infirmary. Her hands were always trembling from exhaustion, her apron stained with smoke and antiseptic, but her eyes still carried warmth, soft, stubborn warmth that refused to die. One night, after a long shift tending to wounded soldiers, Lydia stepped outside and saw the lantern glowing in Samuel's window. It flickered gently in the darkness, and for the first time in weeks, she felt something like comfort. She crossed the street and knocked softly. Samuel opened the door. His face was tired, his glasses smudged, but he smiled. "I keep it lit, so no one feels alone when they walk these streets." Lydia nodded, her heart tightening. In times like these, even one light can feel like a miracle. From that night on, they began sharing small moments. Cups of weak tea made from rationed leaves, quiet conversations about days long gone, and the sound of Samuel's old radio playing music just loud enough to feel human again. But war is unforgiving. One evening, the air raid sirens wailed across the city. The sky lit with fire as aircraft roared above. Lydia ran outside, calling for survivors, helping people into the shelters. Samuel stayed at the doorway of his shop, lantern in hand, guiding them through the smoke. A bomb fell nearby, exploding with the thunder that shook the street. When the dust finally settled, the lantern was lying on the ground, shattered. Lydia's heart froze. "Samuel!" She rushed toward the ruins of the shop. Through the haze, she saw him, alive, coughing, covered in ash, but standing. He held the metal frame of the lantern, bent but unbroken. "I promised," he whispered hoarsely, "that I'd keep the light for anyone who needed it." Lydia threw her arms around him, tears streaming down her face. "You kept it for me," she said, voice trembling. "You were the only light on this street." Samuel held her close, the broken lantern pressed gently against his chest. The bombs had silenced the night, but in that embrace, the world felt bright again. Not because of metal or glass, but because of two hearts stubborn enough to hold hope in the darkest of times.